Okay, so once you've completed your your final piece and you're happy with it, we're going to create the different assets that you need. So we're creating a PDF, a PNG, and a package file. So the PDF you made before, but we haven't made a PDF with the crop marks, right? With the bleed. And the crop marks are where you're going to cut the different edges of the piece are. So we're going to first create like a regular PDF. You just go ahead and you create your, make sure you're selected Adobe PDF down here. Save. I have one already, it's going to replace. Now before you hit save PDF, I want you to hit marks and bleeds. And I want you to, and you probably have these unchecked on yours. It'll probably just be blank. The one you want to check is trim marks and use document bleeds. If you click, if this is grade or 0 in here, you didn't add the document bleed at the beginning. So you need to cancel this and go back to and select document setup and add your 0.125 bleed, which is the industry standard, the 1/8 of an inch. And you don't need to worry about the rest of this stuff in here. So just make sure you have trim marks and bleeds. Hit save PDF. It's going to go ahead and make that PDF. Then you go to your hard drive, wherever it's saved. So here's mine. So I'm going to double click on it. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a PDF with crop marks. So if you go up real close, you will see, now you won't see the black line in Illustrator, your artboard, but what you would see is, so a printer would cut right here and it will cut right here, all the way down. So your final file, PDF, should look like this. A regular PDF, but it's crop marks. Right? And if you didn't add the bleed in the PDF, you would not see the crop marks. It must overlap. So if you don't have that overlapping piece like this, it's not correct. If the edge of the piece comes like this, that's wrong. Okay, so you must have this little piece overlapping. That's why it's going to get cut. Okay, that's your PDF. For the PNG, simply just create Save for Web. Now, I have mine already set to PNG 24. If yours is on JPEG, you just go here and change it to PNG 24. It's going to tell you the size and the K and how big it is. And you simply just save that. Now, typically, you wouldn't probably save an entire book jacket, but imagine you was putting this on the web and you had to get the cover of your book. You probably would save this part right here as a PDF, PNG, right, the front of the book. And I'm not going to show you how to do that because it's not required for this class, but if you wanted to use a slice tool, you could slice that piece and then export that piece for web, for just the front of the book. But for this project, just go ahead and save your final piece, your PNG, and that it's going to be a low resolution file, right? It's not going to be. One thing I forgot to tell you to do is make sure and take off the barcode. After you finish drawing the barcode, make sure and take off the hide the barcode that you brought in or that you placed. That way you can delete it or you can hide it, but make sure that you don't have the eye on the image that you used to trace. Alright, because that looks kind of bad. So just hide it or delete it. Okay, so you've gotten your PDF and you've gotten your PNG. Now your package file. So your package file is pretty much gathering up all your fonts, all your images, and your document to send to a printer or to somebody else who may be working on this project. So let's say you're working with a team and you started the project and then somebody's taking over the project. You want to give them everything to work with, right? You don't want to give them just the file without the fonts or just the file without the images. Because we've embedded these images in here, we don't have to worry about linked images. You just have to worry about giving them the file. So to package a file, you simply go to File, Package. It's going to ask you to save it if you haven't, which is fine. So what it's basically doing is gathering up all the elements that you need. So it's telling you here to copy all the links, put the links in a separate folder, put the fonts in a separate folder, and create a report. So the report, all this stuff is automatically done. So you just go to wherever you want to have it saved. So you can change the folder. So I wanted to save it in my final exam folder. I'm going to choose that folder. If you look at the string, it's going to tell you where it's going. This is the name of the file. It's going to leave the name folder on there so you'll know it's a folder of stuff. It's a folder of, package stuff, as opposed to just a single file. So it says, give me a message, a package was created successfully. To view, say OK, or show package. So here is the package, what it should look like. So in your final, your final folder, basically this was the file I started with. Here's the PNG and here's the PDF. But once I created the package folder, it packaged everything, it grabbed everything and put it into one neat little folder for me. Right, and then you have a text file. Here's your book jacket. Everything is exactly the same as you did it before. Right? So here's a native file. So somebody can take this folder and work on your file. Here are all the fonts that I used. Right? So if somebody doesn't have the Optima font, or Universe, or Frutager, or whatever I used, they can then install these fonts on their computer. And the only link I have is the barcode. Now, I didn't really want the barcode in there, but it's still a good example of, if I didn't embed these images in here, you would see a linked image. You would see the logo, EPS, and you would see the CEO's picture in here. So this is another way, if you didn't want to embed the image, it'll save it as links. But because I want to get you into the habit of embedding your images in Illustrator, that way you don't have to, if you ever forgot, you don't have to worry about, somebody seeing an empty box or you didn't show the picture. So it's a good practice to embed your image, but it's also, just so you know, when you package things, if you do have a linked image, like the barcode was in there, so that barcode.png was an image, and you can see it's up here, right, the images, but this one I did not embed. This one was embedded, so it did not save it in the package, so it's fine. So really, in your links images, if you embed everything, it should be empty. On your final piece to me, if you embed all the images, this links folder should be empty. Okay, so then what you would do is that you would send this entire folder, you can zip it, right, and upload it to the LEO. You want to definitely compress that file. So make sure you just compress it if you have a Mac, or zip it, right, on the PC. So you will send me this entire zip folder along with the PNG, along with the PDF. So when you send your final file, a zip file, PNG, PDF. The original Illustrator file is already embedded inside of this folder, so no need to send that again. And there you have it. So that should be all you really need to do this project. Again, I want you to focus on more so the construction of this, and putting the files together as opposed to spending tons of time on the design. Again, this is sort of more of a technical class than a design class, but again, don't just throw stuff together and, spend a little bit of time, sketch it out, lay it out. Even if you're using typography only, still try to figure out an interesting way of using the type. You can do different things. You can turn the type to the side. You can use a much larger font, to give it sort of a more bold look. You can scale your fonts up. So there are other different things you can do to make it interesting without spending a ton of time on it. The design, I want you to get the construction down and be able to get all the elements in and make sure you have the deliverables. And so check this video often so you can see everything that you need to do. If you have other questions, post it to the discussion board, or you can send me an email. But these are the requirements you need for the final, and they're touching pretty much everything you've done in this class, a little bit here and there. Don't forget that you have to add the 4 effects to this piece. And for this week with the discussions, we don't have any readings, but if you want to go ahead and put up projects that you've worked on in this class and have other students, critique it or comment it. If you finish this project early enough this week, your final, and you want to post that, to the discussion for week 8, that's fine. You can get some feedback on that. But so it's kind of open as to what you want to put any one of your 3 projects or all your 3 projects so far on the discussion board, and just to get some feedback from other students. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know, and do well.